Hi there, my name is Rian Griff. I'm the founder of Run Forest Run, and welcome back. This is the 6th year that we've embarked on another challenge to raise funds towards For Africa, a charity that's very close to my heart.
Hi, I'm Liesl Barbara. I'm Rian's wife. Rian is the runner. I run behind the scenes. So Rian, every year I see him after every challenge take out those tent pens like in the scripture and just expand the tent and enlarge the territory, and that is what Expanding Horizons is. What started off as a small thing with one person have now developed into so much bigger, and so every year the goodness comes to the front. You are not just doing something and expanding your own capacity, but you're also expanding the capacity of the people you are benefiting, who is benefiting from the money that is raised. But it is amazing to see that expansion every year and doing more than you thought you could possibly do every year.
I think the idea of doing it so that you can help others do the same, and that appeals to me, and that has been what Run Forest Run has done for people. It has caused people to run further and to do more. I've seen Rian do a whole lot more than he could possibly have done every single year, just challenging himself. And that, being able to do that while feeding people, helping people go to school, and just making people's lives better, encouraging people to be healthier. It's all for good. I see no bad coming out of it. It's literally all for the good.
So if we go into what this year's challenge was, it is the Tri-Challenge, and it talks about triathlons. Up until now, I've only been running. I needed to expand into swimming for the first time and doing cycling. So the goal was to do a full Ironman equivalent triathlon in 3 countries in 6 days. The 3 countries that we decided on was South Africa, in Wellington, in Uganda, the small town of Kisoro, and here in the UK, my hometown of Wellington on the Hill. And a full triathlon consists out of a 3.8 kilometer swim, followed by a 180 kilometer cycle, and then a 42.2 kilometer run, a full marathon. And the goal was to do that 3 times, together with long-haul flights in between, and do that in the space of 6 days. Crazy, I know, but somehow we managed to do it. I wanted to expand my horizons. I wanted to do something I haven't done before, and my vision was to also expand where I do it, and that's where the idea of going to the 4 Africa countries to go and put feet on the ground where they are coming alongside the local communities, and I wanted to see where they were. This year's Tri-Challenge was a process, because for me, I first needed to work through a lot of emotional baggage before I could get out of the door and run again. So after the 300 expansion challenge of last year, during that time my dad passed away from cancer in South Africa. I wasn't able to go there during that time, but I thought I worked through the hurt. I thought I handled that. It got so bad that Liesl Barbara, my wife, needed to confront me and ask me, listen, are you okay? Because you're not yourself anymore.
Last year, after the 300 expansion challenge, there was a long time of quiet. Rian usually by day 2, day 3 starts, he wants to go for a walk, and then within a week he wants to go for a small run, and so he then starts running again, not to the extent of the preparation before a challenge, but usually he would start something again. This year it was different. We had that time, we had the funeral with Rian's father and passing, and we had that time it was a massively emotional experience, and you can watch the documentary on that as well. But he didn't go back to running.
Hy het dit regtig uitgeleef wat dit beteken om soos blessed to be a blessing. Hy het regtig tot die bitter einde toe wil hy nie net ontvang nie, hy wil altyd gee ook. En een van die laaste kere wat ons saam gekuier het as 'n familie was laas Woensdag aand wat ons nagmaal saam gevier het en waar ons toe oor my pa gebid het. Maar hy wil nie net ontvang nie, hy wil ook bid vir elkeen van ons. En dit was so special. En ek dink mense het elke keer voller gevoel as jy wegstap van hom. En dit is hoe ons hemelse Papa ook is.
And so I was observing him for a little while and then asked him about this, because this is not him. It was something that, to the point where I was worried about his mental health and whether he is ever going to run again. And it took some time to really just process the why he's not running anymore, why he's not inspired to run anymore, and what changed, because the heart did not change. We were still running for good, we still had to expand horizons, we still had to be blessed to be a blessing, and that part was still there, so something else changed, and that is something that Rian had to work through and come out on the other side stronger.
What happens, how I run is I go into nature, and that is my time with God. It is a time of reflection, it is a time of listening to either sermons, listening to audiobooks, and it's really me spending time with God. And during last year's challenge, I used that time to also pray for my dad that was going and that was battling cancer.
He's always been my hero, and he's a person that's so kind-hearted, soft, loving, caring, but with a spirit of a lion that fights. And he's been fighting cancer this past 4 years, and God has time after time delivered, come through, and it seemed hopeless. And even through it all, and even now when it's tough, he still decides not to just sit in his room and be pitiful about himself. He chooses to go and make an impact. He is still going out preaching. He is still going out and going to pray for people in the old age homes. He's still leading people while fighting his own battle. And now I'm going to continue in fighting that way. Hello there. It is Thursday, the 24th of June. It is exactly 7 days ahead of my scheduled start. I just wanted to give an update. My dad is deteriorating rapidly, crazy, the deterioration that we've seen. Thoughts of, well, you're here, you're not there, but I know like that's just the enemy. So we are combating that. We are praying against that. We're praying for healing. We're doing all those things. We're between a rock and a hard place, but we know that God is with us. We're not defined by what we go through. We're defined by who He says we are.
I think what happened was inevitably I linked my running with my dad, and when my dad passed away, I didn't want to run anymore because my dad was dead. I needed to talk about it, and I'm so grateful for my wife that was there to help me, like, bring it to the forefront, cry about it, talk about it, work through it, and we were also very privileged to have the tools available through FFI, Family Foundation, that assisted us to let the Holy Spirit work and expose the lies that I started believing so that I could go forward and not be stuck in the past.
So ons is 4 kinders, Rian is die oudste, so hy is die een wat die voorbeeld moet stel. En dan sit ek en dan het ons nog 2 boeties. En dit was nog altyd, was Rian hierdie passievolle persoon, waar hy, as hy sy kop op 'n ding neersit, dan hardloop hy met dit. Wel, op hierdie stadium letterlik hardloop hy met dit. En ook daai, as ek terugkyk, as ons na ons skooljare toe hy nou nie meer kon rugby speel nie, het hy, as hy die eerste spanningsbestuurder gewees, ek dink dit was vir 2 jaar gewees, en net om dat hy op krikke langs die veld gehardloop het. Ek dink hy het meer kilos ingesit as wat van die rugby spelers op die veld ingehaat het, maar dit om te sien hoe hy gemotiveerd was, hulle bly ondersteun het, hulle water aangedra het, gehelp het.
Over the period of time, I knew my identity is not based on my performance. My identity is still in who God says I am, and the main reason why I have the ability to run is the fact that God blessed me to run, because in 2017 when I started running, my knees were shot to shreds. So it is all through God, and I needed to replace my dad on that pedestal again with God, the main reason why I do what I do. And when I started communicating that to myself, remembering that I'm blessed to be a blessing, that's when things started to change, and I'm so grateful for that. It was a tough year, but I'm so grateful for it as well.
My biggest concern in the lead up to this particular challenge was the pure magnitude of the logistics. 3 countries, traveling in between countries. Rian's previous challenges were extended challenges, so he would run for days on end and then stop and recover, where with this challenge it is 3 different countries, 3 different challenges, recovery in between, and that in between airports and long haul flights. Rian does not swim. He used to not swim, shall I say. So he always jokes and says he swims like a rock, which is why expanding horizons this year was very interesting, that he then thought triathlon. But that again, that is exactly what that is an expansion of his horizon and doing what he's never done before. So he signed up to a gym and YouTubed how to swim. We had to source him a bicycle because he didn't have one. So for the first bit of his training, it was a stationary bicycle at the gym. And he went and he did it, and he investigated and he researched. I think don't disregard how much research he puts into his challenges, and he really did have to research this as to how to do these things properly and not just survive on a bike or in a pool. So that was a very interesting new type of preparation for us.
I had basically 6 months, from January till mid of June. And during that time, I worked with what I had. My first open water swim was in April when we visited the family in PE. It was actually at the Ironman in PE where I did my first open water swim. It wasn't as part of the Ironman. I just went there and saw everything that they did, and that encouraged me incredibly. And then after that, when we came back from our visit in South Africa, is only when I bought my bicycle. So I had May and June to really cycle, and I made the most of it. It was tricky, it was tough, but it all came together with my biggest training event was my forest front yard, beginning of June. That's where I, for 16 hours non-stop, trained, and I did it on a loop of 1 hour I cycled, 1 hour I ran, 1 hour cycle, 1 hour you run, and did that 9 times with the cycling, 7 times with the running. So I did 20 kilometers each cycle round and 6.5 kilometers running. Hello everyone. It is 2 minutes before the next round starts, so that is round 9 of the 16. This is going to take me further than I've ever cycled in a day, so this will take me to 120 kilometers for the day. And there's still a few rounds still to go. I am out on my Monday afternoon lunchtime run, walking currently just to take this video, but just limbering up, feeling how the legs are after Saturday's forest front yard. Happy with how that went on Saturday, because there was a lot of elevation in both the cycling and the running, which is good, and also completed it in the time frame that is normally done within a Ironman, as well as like a lot of rest in between. So I'm feeling comfortable, feeling good that is something I will be able to complete, and the body is also feeling good now, so that's great. And today also marks 2 weeks before the start of the Tri-Challenge. Hello, it's Rian here. I am at the Shack, beautiful swimming lake here in Surrey. Just done 7 rounds here, testing out the wetsuit, testing out open water swimming. Join me again next week, we'll do the same. I am sporting the new Run Forest Run kit for this year, with For Africa on this side. You've got the Tri-Challenge and Run Forest Run very big on the chest. People will definitely see us coming. And I'm also sporting some new shoes that I've been blessed with to be ready for this year's challenge. Looking forward to it. Just a bit more than a week to go.
Met die aanloop tot die Tri-Challenge van hierdie jaar, moet ek sê, ek dink my grootste bekommernis wat saam met dit gekom het aan die begin was werklik daai van hierdie is dalk te groot ding wat ons aanpak.
It really became real when we were at Heathrow Airport, waiting to board our first flight to South Africa, and that's where things got real, and it was cool to fly down to South Africa with Carl and Livingston. When we got there in Cape Town, we were welcomed by my family. We used my parents' house there in Wellington as our base.
Livingston, you've got a spot there. Yes. Please, Carl. We are safe and sound in Cape Town. Stevie G has come to pick us up. Now we're heading to Paarl first to get some haircuts and then to Wellington.
It was incredible to have the entire family there together with the For Africa crew, and together we were going to make this a reality.
Dit was wonderlik om deel te kon wees van fisies deel te kon wees van 'n projek wat hy so lank voorberei het en om te sien wat hy doen, hoe hy dit doen. Al het ek nou net 'n klein rolletjie gehad in hierdie groot projek van hom, was dit 'n voorreg om deel daarvan te wees. Om 'n vol huis te hê was nog altyd vir my baie lekker. Ek is maar 'n moederhen wat die almal bymekaar wil hê en wil versorg. Sorg dat almal se maag vol is, dat hulle genoeg het om te drink, dat hulle lekker warm slaap. So vir my was dit regtig 'n baie lekker naweek.
Julle is 'n warm familie. Jou ma is vir my, laat my so baie aan my eie ma dink. En ek dink toe ek dit sien, my ma is laas jaar oorlede in COVID en toe ek jou ma sien, toe dink ek, Here, stuur U nou vir my 'n engel hierso wat lyk soos my ma. En sy is net so warm en net dieselfde, kom wees deel van die familie en almal lag en daar's 'n baba en jou broers is net so vriendelik. Ag, dit is net, dan weet mens jy is op die regte pad. Hierdie gaan net 'n sukses wees want daar's niks wat mens nie kan saam hanteer as daar iets sou fout gaan nie. Julle vriendelikheid, julle openheid op die huis, ek meen ons het daar geëet, dit was heerlike sop geweest. Dit is lekker om te sien dat 'n familie nog so naby is. Ek dink in vandag se lewe sien mense meer families wat so eg is nie. Maar mens kon sien, julle harte is goud. Dis fantasties.
I can do all day.
We sometimes have the assumption that I myself as a person can not really make a big difference on the world. So it's only me, what can I actually do? But Rian is just evident, or he's living evidence of someone who didn't really care about what people thought, and he took this dream of his and his vision, and that had a massive ripple effect through the races that he did, through the funds that he accumulated, the donations that he got from people, and that his story actually inspired a lot of people, and it has a big impact on Africa as a whole, but I also think in the broader sense on the world as a whole.
Let's see that?
Hey yo.
Hi guys.
We're here.
How you
We're
feeling?
ready. It is Monday the 27th of June. 6:09, and now we're going to the dam for a little bit of a swim.
Yes.
A little day out.
It's early in the morning, bit. Why? But why? Because for Africa.
The farm where I swam is called the Bosman family farm, and they were so gracious to open their grounds for me to swim there. It's still the middle of winter there, so it was a very cold cold swim, but God was good. The swim went well, even though we started before sunrise. While I was swimming, the sun started coming up. It became a beautiful rest of the day.
Yes, hierdie tone is dom. Tone is dom. Yes, hierdie tone is nou ijskoud. Ja.
Nice. Okay, so jy moet ons kar uitstap.
Baie dankie vir die picture. Waardeer dit hoor.
Ja, jy weet. Lekker bed. What are you doing? Maak gou reg. Reg. Maak reg vir die oorlog. Ek maak ons reg vir hierdie veg wat voor. Good, man. Good. It's nasty so reg.
During the 180-kilometer cycle, we made a point of it to visit ECD centers. ECD stands for Early Childhood Development Centers, and those are small little schools where the teachers look after the little ones, and For Africa provides the meals to them on a daily basis.
So ons het met die Tri-Challenge het ons probeer kyk dat ons half al die skooltjies wat onder ons Franschhoek munisipaliteit al val, om daai skooltjies te kon deel maak van die hele challenge, want ons het gekyk die roete wat Rian gaan fietsry. En die eerste skooltjie waar ons gestop het was by Wemershoek gewees, en dit was by Little Rainbows gewees. Baie lekker skooltjie. Juffrou ons het For Africa daar so 'n paar jaar terug, dink 2016, 'n makeover ook gedoen, so ons is baie dankbaar daarvoor gewees. En toe het al die res van die skole van Franschhoek besluit, omdat hulle nie almal 'n besoek gaan kry van Rian nie, gaan hulle by die langs die pad bymekaar kom as 'n forum. So dit beteken al die ander skooltjies, ons het 13 skooltjies in Franschhoek, het toe nou op langs die pad, daar besige pad, Franschhoekpad bymekaar gekom, so langs die straat, gazebo opgeslaan, en die kindertjies het daaronder gestaan met hulle plakkaatjies en gewag tot Rian daar verbykom. En toe van daar af het Rian ook sy draaipunt gemaak, en hy is oor die berg en Kaimandi toe om, en toe by Klapmuts waar ons laaste stop was, saam met ons Klapmuts skooltjies, ABC Daycare, wonderlike skooltjie, wonderlike gemeenskap, daai Klapmuts ook, ja. So dis waar ons was.
It was so incredible to see the faces of so many children during my cycle. We visited 4 sites during my cycle. So during that few hours of cycling, I want to say I didn't get tired, because each time there's a new kid's face that's imprinted in your mind into saying like what you're doing is making an impact in this little one's life. So that was so amazing.
Fight over our land. Land forward land. You are so much fun to do what you do for all of us too. Let God be your son. Shine bright over your hand. Run, Forrest, run. Yay!
Baie dankie. Thank you so much. Good job, guys.
And to then go to finish at Wellington, at the Moedergemeente, the place where my dad started his ministry as well as ended his ministry last year when he passed away, was so special.
Yes, ek het die laaste 15 kilos as ek sit en begin hier so dan moet ek die hele tyd staan
Nou, gaan sit ek weer totdat ek voel die kramp kom en dan staan ek weer.
I started my run there and ran with Kobus and Stefan, my two brothers. Finished only at after 10 in the evening. It was just such a special day with so many people giving of themselves.
Bye julle, lief vir julle. Mwah, mwah, mwah. My goodness, in the gutters. Wow.
Hey! You guys are doing great, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Rian's still looking fresh. We are 26.7 k's in.
Nice.
Another 15. Just 15 to go. Yeah, 15. Just a little bit less than 15.
Rian did well. And then within those last 10 k's, you could see how tough it was going, especially with the dry heaving. But it's you feel so powerless, honestly, and you just wish you can give him some energy, some power or strength that you have.
And the brothers were freaking out because they had never seen this before and they didn't know what to do. That was a bit of a low, but that was short-lived, and he continued running as he always does. Crazy enough.
And it was such a inspiring moment to finish the run and hug my mom in front of the church. It was almost like a full circle. It was exactly 1 year after my dad's passing. So all in all, that day is very special to me.
Hy het saam met my teruggery huis toe, maar toe ek hom in die kar inhelp, was dit hierdie spookagtige Rian wat daar sit en hy het net hy het gebewe, hy het net ek wil amper sê hy het soos heen en weer gewieg en hy was net soos gestaar in die toekoms en wil dit weer my half gevoel en waar ek net op daai oomblik besef het soos hier moet ek bid, hier moet ek oor hom bid en net ons is lewe spreek en God spreek en dat die Here het hom tot hier toe gedra en hy sal hom verder kan deurdra.
After the first full triathlon in South Africa, afterwards when Rian was man down, we went for a power nap and I had to greet him because I wouldn't see him again. And he had to go for a power nap because he was man down. And I thought, how in the world would he be able to complete 2 more of these within the span of the next 4 days? Yeah, by the grace and power of God alone, amen.
The next day, we needed to pack everything, make sure that we're ready to rumble again. But before we headed to the airport, we first visited Khayelitsha.
Om Khayelitsha toe te gaan is nie sommer net ons beplan nou, ons gaan nou deur Khayelitsha nie. Veral nie sekere areas in Khayelitsha nie. Daar is areas wat veiliger is, waarmee ek baie gemaklik is om op my eie te ry, met my eie kar ook, so dis nie 'n probleem nie. Maar daar is sekere gedeeltes wat jy net bietjie meer versigtig moet wees. En onder andere die een skool waartoe ons op pad is, Nonayethu in South Sea. So dit is 'n redelike gevaarliker area van Khayelitsha.
Together with Tabile and Adele and the rest of the For Africa team to visit more For Africa sites, more ECDs, and it's so inspiring, the level of excellence that the teachers have. And one specific story that stood out to me was our first visit was the headmaster was called Mildred, and she just said she can't take leave during the school holidays, because we visited during the school holidays, because what are the parents going to do with their children? The parents still need to go to work. I need to provide a safe place for them to leave their kids, and I just thought that is such a big thing. That is such a generous act that this one lady is saying, I am making a difference. No one is asking me to do this, but I'm taking responsibility and I'm making a difference in people's lives. And that's the type of story worth telling.
When is this thing gonna finish? It was just not finishing.
I was totally depleted.
Close to defeat.
The toughest thing that I've ever done.